Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to make things work, the more they seem to slip out of your control? That no matter how much effort you put in, the results don't come, and somehow, the very act of trying keeps you stuck. Maybe that's because you're trying too hard, and it's that very effort that's holding you back. The human mind has a strange pattern. It confuses movement with progress. We think that doing more automatically means we're getting somewhere. But that's not always true. Sometimes, the more you move, the more trapped you become. And that's what we need to talk about. It sounds contradictory, I know. After all, since childhood we've been told that success comes to those who try the hardest, who fight until the end, who never give up. But there's a fine line between healthy effort and destructive effort. There's an invisible border between dedication and desperation. Once you cross it, your effort stops being energy and turns into tension. And that's when everything begins to jam. Life has a strange sense of humor. Sometimes, when you finally let go, everything starts working. And when you try to control every detail, things fall apart. Have you ever noticed that the more you chase someone's attention, the further they pull away? Or that when you desperately try to fall asleep, you stay awake even longer? It's not a coincidence. It's the mind sabotaging its own natural flow. There's actually a name for this: the law of reversed effort. The harder you try to control something that depends on balance, the more you disturb it. It's like trying to hold water in your hands while squeezing them tight. The harder you press, the less water you can hold. The same applies to relationships, success, confidence, creativity, even happiness. The more you try to force these things, the further away they go. But before you can stop forcing, you need to understand why you do it in the first place. The truth is, trying too hard comes from fear. The fear of losing, of not being enough, of being forgotten. It's a defense mechanism. The more insecure you feel, the more you try to compensate by doing. But that doing is often empty, an attempt to control what can't be controlled. You try to predict what others will think, anticipate results, guarantee that everything will go exactly as planned. And in doing so, you lose control over the only thing that's truly yours, yourself. Think about those moments when you studied too much and nothing stuck, or when you planned every detail so carefully that you never actually began. It's the same principle. The mind enters a hyper-focused mode that blocks flow. It's like pulling a string too tight. One more tug and it snaps. What's interesting is that in moments of real performance, no one is trying too hard. The musician who plays a perfect solo isn't thinking about every note. The athlete who scores the perfect goal isn't analyzing every move. They're flowing. Their brain is in the flow state, that perfect balance between effort and ease. It's when the conscious and unconscious work together seamlessly. And that can only happen when there's trust. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, trust in letting things happen. But it's hard to trust when all you've been taught is that slowing down means failing, that resting means laziness, that surrendering means weakness. That's why most people live in a constant state of tension, always trying to prove their worth through non-stop action. Have you noticed that the most insecure people are usually the loudest ones, always needing to show confidence? They talk too much, overcompensate, exaggerate. It's a noisy attempt to hide fear. True confidence is quiet. It's that calm energy that comes when you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. Overtrying is born from fear and fed by emotional hunger. You try too hard because you think achieving something will fill the emptiness inside. But the more you chase it, the bigger that emptiness feels. It creates a vicious cycle. Effort generates tension, tension creates anxiety, anxiety makes you try even harder, and the outcome stays the same, or gets worse. It's like running on a treadmill, all that movement, and you're still in the same place. The shift begins when you understand that letting go doesn't mean giving up. Letting go means trusting. It means accepting that some things aren't under your control, and that's okay. It's realizing that everything in life has its own rhythm, and forcing it only makes it worse. You can't yell at a seed to make it grow faster. You can water it, care for it, nourish it, but you can't force the timing. Maybe the issue isn't your effort, but the reason behind it. When effort comes from fear, it blocks you. When it comes from curiosity, it frees you. When you act because you want to learn, to explore, to experience, your energy flows. When you act because you're afraid of losing, everything tightens up. In a way, detachment is the art of acting without clinging to the result. It's putting in intention, but not tension. It's like shooting an arrow. You aim, you pull back, you breathe, you release, and then you trust. You don't chase the arrow to make sure it hits the target. You trust your aim, your preparation, your direction. But the modern mind has forgotten how to trust. We live in constant alert, craving instant results, instant validation, instant feedback. Everything has to happen now. And when it doesn't, panic sets in. This obsession with immediacy creates a permanent anxiety, a need to control everything. Time, people, emotions, outcomes. But control is an illusion. And that illusion is the greatest source of suffering there is. Maybe it's time to pause and ask yourself, in which parts of your life are you trying too hard? In love? In your career? In your personal growth? Where has effort turned into tension? Because those are the areas where you need to start letting go. Not recklessly, but consciously. Letting go isn't about walking away. It's about breathing again. It's about making space for things to unfold naturally. When you release control, something shifts inside you. The weight lightens. The mental noise fades. And ironically, that's when life starts to move again. Because the energy you were wasting trying to manage what's out of your hands now goes toward what you can actually influence. That's where flow begins. The balanced mind is like a river. Try to hold on to the water, and it slips away. Let it flow, and it finds its own path. When you try too hard, you dam the current, and everything dammed eventually overflows. Maybe what's blocking you right now isn't a lack of effort, but an excess of it. There's an ancient wisdom, from both Buddhism and Stoicism. Focus only on what you can control. And the only thing you can truly control is your attitude. What others think, feel, say, or do. None of that belongs to you. Suffering comes from trying to change what's not yours to change. That's why so many people live frustrated. They're forcing outcomes that were never theirs to command. They're trying to change others, predict the future, guarantee results. But life isn't a contract. It's a current. The harder you fight it, the more exhausted you become. The secret is learning how to swim with it. That doesn't mean being passive. It means acting consciously, doing your part, without carrying the world on your shoulders. It's like dancing with life. You lead, but you also follow. It's a dialogue, not a struggle. Many people confuse "stop trying" with giving up on their dreams. But the real meaning is different. It's about changing the quality of your action. When you act from anxiety, everything feels heavy. When you act from calmness, everything becomes clear. And clarity comes from detachment, from understanding that you don't need to control the outcome to keep moving forward. Think about those times when you were in love and decided to stop insisting. Isn't it strange how that's often when the person comes back? Or when you gave up on a project, and suddenly a new opportunity appeared. Life seems to respond to balance, not desperation. When you're at peace, you vibrate differently, and that energy attracts instead of repels. Of course, this doesn't happen overnight. Learning to let go takes practice. It takes self-awareness. You have to learn to notice when your mind switches into control mode. When you feel that tension rising, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this really under my control? If the answer is no, release it. Redirect your energy toward what is, your attitude, your effort, your perspective. When you understand that you're not the center of the universe, you free yourself from the burden of trying to manage it. True detachment comes from emotional maturity, when you realize you can deeply want something without being enslaved by it. It's when you learn to act with intention, not with desperation. And the irony is, it's in that calm state that life begins to flow again, because you stop acting out of fear and start acting out of awareness. Fear narrows your vision. Awareness expands it. Fear makes you cling to the result. Awareness helps you enjoy the process. And the process is where everything happens. It's where you learn, grow, evolve. It's where you become who you truly are. The outcome is just a reflection. So next time you feel like you're trying too hard, stop. Look deeper. Maybe you're trying to fill an inner void, the need to be seen, to be enough, to be loved. Acknowledge it. And then, breathe. Trust. The right things come when you're ready for them, not when you're desperate to have them. Letting go means allowing life to surprise you, allowing time to do its work, allowing the invisible to move. It's giving space for the natural order to take shape. In the end, letting go is an act of faith, not religious faith, but faith in life, faith in time, faith in yourself. It's understanding that life isn't against you, it's just waiting for you to stop pushing so hard. And if any part of this message resonated with you, maybe now is the time to pause and ask yourself, what am I trying to control that no longer belongs in my hands? Sometimes, all you need to do is release. If this spoke to you, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel to keep walking this path with me. Because, in the end, true growth begins the moment you stop trying so hard, and finally start living.